This is the Louie T Network. Hey, either you're outside or you're
in the lab room.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome. You are in the lab room, of course. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me on this In the Lab Room exclusive. I watched TV today and I saw everybody bending over backwards to salute Peyton Manning on his way out. And I said, you know what? Let me get in on the fun, man. Because normally I would turn my nose up at something like this. But when you're talking about one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history, respect is not due. It's been earned over time, and you got to give it up. And so, I'm going to send Peyton Manning off with a farewell, and I will bid adieu to one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history. And I've been a bit of a Peyton Manning apologist over the life of his career because he's been put in some really precarious situations. We beat him up all the time for not getting it done in the postseason. It wasn't Peyton Manning not getting it done in the postseason. He was on some pretty bad teams. If you look at what Peyton Manning had to do throughout his career to get his teams in the postseason each and every single year, you actually would go back and say, man, that was remarkable. There were some bad defenses he played with, okay? You look up at some of those defenses, there were times where Peyton Manning would have to go out and score 38. He knew in his mind, I got to score 38. Against those Chiefs teams in the early 2000s with Trent Green and Larry Johnson and Priest Holmes and Tony Gonzalez and Dante Hall and Johnny Morton. Those Chiefs teams, they used to put up like 35 points. And when they would square off in the playoffs, there was no punting allowed. If you punted, you were going to lose the football game. And I can vividly remember the Colts going on the road and beating Kansas City in Arrowhead in the playoffs and having to score like 38 points to do it. Because that defense was sorry. And they knew if we don't score 38, probably not going to beat the Chiefs. And our defense isn't good enough. He had to carry those Colts teams to the postseason every single year. He carried them, okay? Doesn't matter who the head coach was. He had to carry them because they couldn't get it done defensively. And so I used to make the proclamation that Peyton Manning is the greatest quarterback in NFL history. Because his mind is what separated him from everybody else to me. His ability to break down defenses was cerebral. Before the snap, him being able to diagnose exactly, teams would try to disguise what they were doing and change looks and do things to kind of play a cat and mouse game. Peyton wasn't going for any of that stuff, man. He already figured out, you got a blitzer coming off this way. I'm gonna go hot right behind him, pick it apart. You gonna give me single coverage with Marvin Harrison on the outside? You trying to disguise like you playing cover 2, but you really playing single high safety? I'm about to eat that alive, man. Stop it. His ability to diagnose what the defense was doing before they would do it, that's a man playing chess when everybody else is playing checkers. And so that's, to me, what separated him. But when you're talking greatest of all time, even though he didn't play on the best teams and he carried them, you still got to get it done in the postseason. He wasn't able to do that. Look, I was defending him tooth and nail up until the 2013 Super Bowl 48, when they lost to the Seahawks 43-8. I had people coming at me with torches and pitchforks. They were ready to come for my ass because I was defending Peyton Manning and talking about how he was the greatest of all time. Then they get smoked, and there wasn't really much I could say. They got beat up. Peyton Manning didn't have a good game. Rest is history, but at the end of the day, when you start making a list of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play in this game, you're not going to name many quarterbacks before you get to Peyton Manning. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. First, second, third, I don't care where you put him. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And I know there are a lot of Peyton Manning haters out there, just as there are a lot of Tom Brady haters out there. And I've said this on numerous occasions, and I've begged and pleaded with you guys out there, respect greatness. Respect being in the moment and being able to view and witness greatness. I've told you this on numerous occasions. You need to really acknowledge this greatness, especially during that 13 season, during his second act with Denver, when they were setting all types of records, which to me was so mind-boggling that year. I didn't think Peyton Manning had that left in him. And to see him go out and do what he did in that 13th season and set all those records, I used to come and it was funny because it was ho-hum. He'd throw 6 touchdown passes and we just poo-poo it like, oh yeah, that's Peyton Manning. No, it's not just Peyton Manning. Respect this greatness that you are seeing that's in front of you, because once it's gone, it's not coming back. It's not walking through that door again. I told you, same thing with Tom Brady. If there's a lot of Brady haters, there's a lot of Manning haters out there. Respect greatness. Because once it's gone, this last wave of quarterbacks, the Bradys, the Mannings, the Breezes, the Rodgers, once those dudes hang it up, we're in trouble. I told you on my podcast how I feel about the state of quarterbacking in college and even in high school. It's not the same. These dudes don't even run offenses. At Bell, they don't even have a playbook. They don't even have verbiage. You got 11 dudes going up to the line of scrimmage like this, looking over at the sidelines, trying to see what the play is. The reason Bryce Petty couldn't get a sniff with the Jets in his rookie season is because it was too much for him. He couldn't even digest the playbook. He didn't have to call out plays in the huddle. He didn't have a playbook. It was too much. Route concepts? What route concepts at Baylor? What route concepts are you talking about? That's the state of quarterbacking. There's a reason why in this draft, with all these talented quarterbacks, every scout, evaluator, GM will tell you none of these guys are ready to play right now. It's a different game, okay? So, you need to acknowledge greatness, whether you like these guys or not as people. A lot of people were rubbed the wrong way when Peyton Manning was out there whoring himself at the Super Bowl, Budweiser, Papa John's. I don't give a damn about any of that. I don't care about that. You cannot like Peyton Manning the person. I'm fine with that. But as a football player, he's one of the best you've ever seen in your life. Admit it. Stop it. Okay? Never had the strongest arm. Was never a great athlete. Up here is where he beat guys. Up here with the anticipation. And that's what, to me, sets him apart. Brady has an arm. Brady's got the best pocket presence you've ever seen. Brady beats you from up here too. Smart as the day is long, but Brady's got all the tools necessary to get it done. Aaron Rodgers, one of the best athletes we've seen at the quarterback position in terms of being able to throw and run, all of that stuff. Peyton Manning wasn't blessed with any of that stuff. What Peyton Manning was blessed with was a razor-sharp brain that could annihilate defenses before they even got it going. And so, respect is not given, it is earned, and he's earned it over the life of his career. And so, his time is up. Father Time tapped him on the shoulder and said, hey man, come on Peyton, it's time to go. So he got him a chip on his way out. A lot of people sour about him getting a chip on the way out. For years, this man carried bad defenses. For once, the defense carried him, and y'all got to complain about that? Let the man ride out on his white Bronco, man. Let the man ride out with his Hollywood ending. He got 2 chips now, the same as Eli. Eli's not getting another one. Okay? So he's got the same amount as his brother. He's got a winning record in the playoffs. You can't talk about his playoff record anymore. Got a winning record in the playoffs. Got 2 chips, multiple chips. What is there left to say other than salute to one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history? Farewell, Sheriff. Hell of a job, man. He, to me, exemplifies what the quarterback position is supposed to look like at this level. And for years, to me, he's been one of the most exciting quarterbacks to watch play the position. And now, he's passed the torch. Y'all give it up for Peyton Manning, one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history to do it. It happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab room. Come back and join me as I continue to break down anything and everything in the National Football League. Respect greatness, because once it's gone, it's not coming back. We just lost one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history. Father Time came and got him. Tom Brady's next. Y'all better recognize this greatness before it's gone.
There's plenty more where that came from. While you're here, subscribe to the channel. If you want more Louie T, be sure to follow me on Twitter at In The Lab Room, or you can like the Facebook page at In The Lab Room. That's In The Lab Room on Facebook and at In The Lab Room on Twitter. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so.